Hi, and welcome to Make and Take. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Stephanie, hop on up and say hello.
Hey everyone, how is everyone doing? Let us know in the chat.
We are both really excited to create newsletters with you, and we are really missing our bestie Megan because she wasn't here on Monday, and she's not here today either. She's been really busy with school, but we understand it is back to school time, so we will let it slide again today, Megan.
But feel free to give her a hard time on Twitter. So
Yay.
you can tag Megan and let her know that you miss her, or you can give her some slack.
Yes. But she did help contribute and wanted to say hello. So Stephanie and I are here today to create newsletters with you. Newsletters are amazing resources that you can share with your classroom and your school. Before we talk about how to create newsletters, let's give a reminder about how to join our Google group. So if you haven't joined our Google group already, make sure you join it. There's information on the screen about how to get there. So click on the link. That way you can join our group. If it says you don't have permission, that's okay. You will get permission to join. And then what's awesome is once you've joined our group, you gain access to materials. You have an awesome networking group, and then we can share more things with you to inspire you forever. So it's a win-win, and you will love being a part of our group. You will also get access to the slides, but they are linked for you in the chat right now. So feel free to click on the chat to open up the slides. Now let's talk about our agenda. So today we are going to create newsletters. And newsletters are great to showcase information for families, for students, or for other educators. And on the newsletters, you can showcase information like upcoming events, special tips, resources, announcements. So customize them any way that you like. Why do we create newsletters? Because it's important for people to connect with us and get access to information and resources on a regular basis. So think about what you might like to share and include that information on your newsletter. Here's our to-do list. We are going to learn some new tips and tricks with creating newsletters. You will get to make a newsletter and take a newsletter as well. Today, we will be using Google Slides and Canva for our design.
And so you want to make sure that you size it right. You don't have to use an 8x10. I like to use an 8x10, but again, you can use whatever design size you want. But sometimes if you need to print the newsletter or if you want to hang it up, we're going to talk about what that could look like and the purpose of hanging up a newsletter in a little bit. But again, think about the size. I like to use the 8x10 because I love that size on a Google slide or in Canva. And I like that layout. It can help me organize all my information, but I've seen newsletters that are different sizes. So it's up to you, but that is our suggestion for today. But again, totally up to you and what you're kind of thinking. Now, step one, the first step is to think about your topic. You want to think about who's your audience. Who's the user that's reading this newsletter? What do they need to know? And so most of the time, if you're a teacher or an educator, you want to include current and upcoming school events to let parents know what's happening. What do they need to provide for their student? Is there going to be a day that they need to pack their lunch or they need to buy, or maybe there's an after school event and the parents need to know? And most of the time, kids are not going home telling their parents about these events. And so you've got to have a newsletter to communicate all of this information that's happening in the school. Maybe you want to do like mini interviews where maybe you're interviewing another student or an expert in the field. So again, that is kind of with who is your user and who is the focus of your newsletter. Maybe you have self-help articles that might help like with organizing Google Drive or student safety. I know with COVID, we have a huge, SEL concern. And so maybe there is some things about just well-being in general, getting a good night's sleep. talking about eating a healthy meal, that kind of stuff. Having a kindness corner can help, or other interesting topics. And for me, as an instructional technology coach, because I know we have some listeners that are educators, teachers, admin, coaches, everywhere. We've got counselors, we've got librarians, we've got every type of educator that joins us. And that I love that about our community because we can help each other out. Ashley has different strengths than I do, and I can help her out with my different strengths. And it's just I just love that community where it's just a bunch of different people helping each other. And so because I'm an ed tech coach, my newsletters typically focus on like a coaching idea. So how can my teachers get help from me? They usually focus on a tech tip to save them time and maybe some other resources. So it's not really focused on current and upcoming school events because that's not my role. That's not what I don't have any upcoming events really, unless like I have an upcoming PD, I could throw that in my newsletter. So really just kind of think about what topics you need for your newsletter to be successful.
And then step 2 is figuring out a background for your newsletter. So there's a lot of different ways that you could get inspiration for the background. There's different websites you can use for color palettes. So Canva Colors, for instance, is an amazing site to get inspired with color. And when you check out that website, you can actually choose different colors to kind of help you with finding different color palettes. Coolers works the same way. You can click on that website and find different matches for colors. So get inspired with different colors. You can even check out the session from Monday to learn all about color theory with Sadie to kind of learn about how to put different colors together. And this is great for establishing your overall theme or the background.
Yeah, and I'm going to
sorry.
I'm going to throw in Sadie's video in the chat because it was so powerful. I learned so much, and colors are important.
Yes, they are. So choose them wisely so it's not overbearing. You want the colors to work nicely together and for everything to be visually appealing, but we will be looking at different backgrounds and different themes. For backgrounds, you could always choose an image as a background. Like I know on newsletters, sometimes I see like polka dots as a background or different shapes. So figure out what you want your background to be. And then when you are ready to move on after creating a background, then you will be selecting your images, which is the next step. And this is also really fun because you can complement your theme with the images you're adding. You can use different shapes as elements, like for different sections. So I always like to do this because if I'm adding a section on there, I could use a square as that section shape. And we will show you how to explore that in Canva. When you're adding images, if the backgrounds are not transparent, I know that's super annoying. However, we have a solution for you. You can use remove.bg, which I use probably 100 times a day, where you can go there and download the image that you want that is not transparent for the background, and it will quickly remove it for you. So think about that when you are inserting images. If they're not transparent, go there and it will take off the background for you. Some other websites for images are Noun Project, Unsplash, and Icons Mania. Those are some of our favorites, but Canva does have a great library of images. So it is a great place to get started just looking at their library for content.
And I think too, images just help make your newsletter kind of spark and help gain that interest and help draw the attention to different places on your newsletter. And then finally, we're going to talk about sharing. So again, think about your audience. Do you want to download it as a PDF, hang it up around the school? We do a thing called Potty PD. And so all of these different tips to ed tech go up in the bathroom, and once a month I change them. So that could be a way that you might want to download it and print it. Knowing your students, do you want to download and print a newsletter and send it home with them? Will it make it home? Because when I was teaching, it didn't make it home. And so maybe you want to create a contact group in your Gmail and set up different ways like that. And then you can share that link so anybody can view and access the material. So at the end, I'll kind of walk through a contact group and how to set that up. And kind of what we do in our district to help teachers save time when they're creating that contact group. Because what we do is we create a Google form, send out that Google form, and then we just copy and paste. And that's it. So we'll kind of walk through and talk about that at the very end when we are ready to share our newsletter. And so now we are ready to create. So we have on this slide, if you're in the slide deck, if not in the chat, you can click along and you can start to create. So again, if you don't have access, make sure you join the Google group, and then you will be able to access our slides and everything that you need. But we already have some templates created for you because I've been using newsletters for a couple years, and you can see my designs change, which is kind of funny because I think that shows growth, and you're listening to feedback. So as you're creating newsletters and you hear parents or hear teachers give you feedback on stuff, you think about, oh, I need to change that in my newsletter. Like, for example, this was the first newsletter I ever made. And so you can kind of see here, I had different things all set up for my teachers. And then I told them where I was at every single day. So they knew which building I was going to be at. And then this year, I'm at 10 different buildings. So I'm dropping the locations because I don't even know where I'm going to be at this year. So you can just kind of see how that changes throughout the year. You can also see here, I did like circles one year. I did like these little squares another year. And then this is this year's model. So it's kind of a lot simpler for people. I've got ideas, resources, and then a coaching idea. So that is kind of what I'm thinking for this school year. Down here, we've got a teacher example. This teacher, his name's Charlie Bren. He's amazing. He's at Harmon, and I think his wife is a graphic designer. Is that correct?
Yes, I think so.
I'm sure she helped him. I'm not going to say that public. Well, I did say that publicly, but Charlie's awesome too. He's really good at this kind of stuff. And you can just see here, it's got reminders, important dates. And so you've got to think, what do you need to include on this newsletter? Right here, we've got February, March. This is Megan's example. So she did help us. And you can see in the speaker notes, she has the examples for all of the months that her team uses. So they do a team newsletter. You also want to consider that. Do you have other teachers that you work with? Instead of sending 5 different newsletters home to family, can you just send one? Think about your families. Do they want 5? Because they probably honestly don't. Especially if I was a parent, I don't want to have to read 5. I would want just one and a quick, what do I need to know as a parent? What do I need to do for my child to help them be successful? So this was an example from Megan. And again, their whole team works on this. So they do like a teacher, a birthday, Tiger Pride, marker calendars. And look, every single month has a theme. Isn't that adorable?
I think it's adorable. I love the different seasons.
Yeah.
And the colors change.
And then the final one is this Potty PD. I just saw this one on Twitter. I feel like yesterday or the day before. So here's the original Twitter post that Kelly put. And look how cute this is. And so what Potty PD is, you tape this up in the bathroom and people are supposed to read it as they're using the restroom. And it works. It really does work. It's so funny. I have teachers that come up to me later and they're like, what's that tip? It's something with like Control Shift T and it reopens the tab. Oh, I saw it in the bathroom. And like, I was like, oh, they are reading this. And you walk into classrooms and you see them doing the things that they learned in Potty PD. And so this is a really good strategy. I've also seen copier PD. So if you don't want to put this in the bathroom, you can print it off and put it by the copier or wherever, or create a bulletin board of your newsletter. It doesn't have to look like a piece of paper. And there's a question in the chat from Amy. Do we have access to those slides? Yes. These slides are in the shared deck, which is in the YouTube description. Also, Ashley posted a link in the chat, and I will repost it as well. You do have to join our Google group in order to access it. And let me make sure I shared it with the group, which I don't think I did. So you probably don't have access. Okay, now it's shared. Okay, now people are joining. Sorry about that. Okay, I was just making you guys listen to me. I didn't want you to start. Right. I wanted you to hear me. So what we're going to do is we're going to set our timer. And just a reminder that our timers are unique, and we like to create our own timers. So if you want to create your own timer, there's a playlist, or you can use ours. And how much time do you think, Ashley?
Probably at least 20 minutes.
Okay. So let me grab that. Ashley's going to share her screen, and she's going to walk through Canva tonight. I'm going to be working in the background on Google Slides, and I'm going to share what I did after we kind of walk through there. So we're going to set that timer for 20 minutes. And I love these timers because, again, I can go right here to the timestamps, and there's my 20-minute mark, and we are ready to go. And I'm going to go ahead and let Ashley take over.
Fabulous. So I am just going to show you where you can find some templates on Canva. So when you are in Canva, you can search in the box, newsletters. There's a variety of templates that you can choose from. And what I love about Canva is all the different color options, the different layouts. So I can easily scroll down and find options that might work for me. So I have chosen this template before for a newsletter. And I could easily customize the colors and sections, which I will actually show you a before and after for this template. So I'm going to close this for now and go back to my designs. So in all my designs, I'm going to click on my newsletter. Don't judge my very messy Canva area. I've been creating a lot. But I did want to show you the before and after of customizing a newsletter if you want to use one of the templates. So what I really liked about this newsletter was how it had different sections available in it. But I wasn't crazy about the colors because none of the colors really matched my theme from my website or from my office. So I could easily customize the colors. I will make it a little bit bigger for you so you can see better. But here was the current template that I chose. And then you'll notice that I did make some changes, some color changes. And you can actually change colors that you want by just clicking on the different elements. And that's how I did it. So I clicked on the element and I just changed the color. So I could make it a different color instead. So if I wanted the blue, I could do the blue. And then I could start changing the color for the font because the black is really hard to see on the white. So I could make it the white instead. And I don't know about you, but my students cannot read cursive. So I try not to include cursive because they usually can't read it. And because I want my students to be looking at this as well, then I'm going to take off the cursive. So I also wanted to move around some of the sections because I don't want to have to find two pictures every time I share a newsletter. So I just deleted one of the picture options. And then I moved the box in place of it. So all I had to do was just to copy this box. I just copied it and then I pasted it towards the bottom and I added a different box instead because it's way easier for me to list information rather than having to find another picture for them. So on here, I just started to customize the different sections that I wanted for my newsletter. I know I'm going to have a theme of the month. And just to be completely honest, I've actually never done a monthly newsletter. I've done something very similar, and it's a digital bulletin board where the bulletin board changes every month. So I was thinking about the different areas of my bulletin board and how I could quickly adapt them into a newsletter. So I always put my monthly theme in my bulletin board, so I could definitely put that in my newsletter. I always put reminders. So here's why I could put reminders about maybe upcoming meetings that I'm having or events for students or families. I could just include those in the reminder section. I always included resources related to that time of year. So with this being back to school, I want to put information about where to get school supplies for free, how to pay your rent if you need that. So I could just list that in the resources section. I also wanted a way for people to stay connected with me and get reminded about my social media, so I could easily add it in the connect area. And then here's where I would just find a picture of something every month that I could include on the newsletter. You can easily add other elements to your newsletter. So I know right now, I feel like there's an element missing from the top. So I'm just going to add one. So I can just search in elements. And then when I click in the elements box, I'm just going to search a rainbow. I do kind of have a rainbow obsession. So I'm just going to find a rainbow that I really like. And here's a quick tip about Canva. If you just want to find elements that don't move, then click on graphics. If you want to filter the objects and have only animated, then filter it to animated. But right now I just want to have graphics. So I'm going to scroll to find one that I like, put it on my page. I know the colors clashed a little bit right now, so I will fix that. And I can just resize it to fit above the August. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about months that are super long, like February. I might have to abbreviate it, but for now, I think it will work. And then I could just easily customize the colors to match the theme that I have, because I know this yellow is not the right yellow. So I want to find one that I like better. And I can switch out some of the other colors to match my current theme. So it's really fun to play around with Canva templates. They help you get inspired. You don't have to think from scratch. You can just use the template and make it work for you.
Your template is so cute.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So what I'm doing here, I can share my screen real quick.
Okay.
Is I'm just in a Google slide, and guys, jump on and create. This is a make and take. So get creating with us. Right here, I've got my slides, and I just used shapes. So I just used the shape tool, created this shape, and then I just made it transparent inside. And then I made the border, and then I made it just a little thicker, the border. And then I was going to use some word art, and how I grabbed my colors is from Sadie, because Sadie's session was so good. If you have not watched it, you need to go watch it. We have all of these color Padlets already created. Like, look at these. One of my favorite ones is this one. Like, look how ugly this picture is. Can I just like blow this up real quick? Like, look how ugly that looks. But those colors are so pretty together.
I think that looks delicious, but I didn't have dinner yet, so I'm really hungry.
Yeah. So like, it just looks, it doesn't look as pretty as it does on the colors. So again, if you missed that session, go back to it. But I just stole some of these colors I stole Amy's colors, which was slide number, this one, 8. And I just copied all of her colors over, added them, and then my colors were added to the custom color area, and then I could start designing. And so now I'm just trying to think about what themes or what words do I want to write on here. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And
I love the colors from that color palette.
Yeah.
Those are really fun.
Great job.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my little thing. And if you make this on Canva, add a screenshot of it. Ashley's going to walk through how to create a template link. And do you want to do that now or in a little bit?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I'm going to reshare your screen. Once you go to that tab, I can do that. There you go. Okay. Your screen's up.
Okay. So once you're on Canva, you can actually share a template by going up to the top where it says share. And then right now it says share a link to edit, but I don't want everybody to have edit access. So I'm going to change it to share a link to use as a template. This is amazing because sometimes the things that we create, we want to quickly share with other educators or students, but not let them mess up what we did. So you can hit copy, and then you could easily go back to the newsletters and then insert it on one of the slides. And what I also like about this too is that I could download what I made as a PNG for now, just for so people could see what I made. So if I downloaded my page 1, and then I hit download, I can go back to the newsletter slides and I can just drop it on that slide. Oh, whoops, I did the wrong one. I should have done page 2, duh. But anyway, you see the first one right now, and then I could just put the link in the speaker notes for the template. And then everybody would have the link to my newsletter. So think about that if you're creating on Canva. And if there are things that you're creating that are personal and you don't want them to be included in your template, then make a copy of it instead. And you can make a copy by going up to File, make a copy, and then it will make a copy. That way, if there's personal information you don't want to be shared in the template, you could easily omit it from the copy and then share the copy. So think about that when you are sharing.
I love it. Amazing. So I've kind of finished mine. I just added some text. It's pretty simple. Let's see how much time is left on our timer. Oh, 9 minutes. Okay. Can I share something really exciting?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm going to need your help creating though. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm thinking is I want to make my newsletter personalized for every single student. Do you think we can do that?
Sure.
So if we were to do this, it would take a lot of time to type all those comments about kids in, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to design our template, and then we're going to use Autocrat, and it's going to add comments about the student for the parent to see. Okay. So let's go ahead and start designing, and I'm going to start on slide 10, and I'm going to add my name in the speaker notes. And I think we can do this in 10 minutes, right?
Okay.
8 minutes. We're working together. So let's think of, like, I do know for sure every single week I'm going to have important information I want to share with my parents. Okay. So this is going to be the important information. This is just me brainstorming. Ashley's going to help me make it pretty after I brainstorm.
Or anybody else who's on here. I see other people who I know are really good at design. So please jump in on slide 10 and help us.
Yeah, because we only have 8 minutes to make this. And then here, I'm going to do information about the child, okay? And whenever you use these carrots, this is what Autocrat is going to pull and make it personalized for the student, okay? So I've got information about that student. I'm trying to think, what else do I need? Maybe just some, like, information about our class or something.
That's a good idea.
Okay. Like how to contact me, all that kind of information.
Or, okay, how often are you sending this? Every week?
Yeah.
It could have been like their weekly goal.
Yeah.
If you want to share that.
Yeah. So we're going to make this smaller. Okay. So we got information about the child. And then here, I'm going to have... I'm going to do a note from the teacher. Again, those carrots are going to pull from a Google form to make this personalized for the student. What this student, and I want their name, is good at. And then again, I'm going to put the carrots, good. And then goals for this name of the student just to make it more personalized, and then I want to put their goals. Okay. I might actually make this section a table. Okay, so I'm going to move that over, and this is me really thinking out loud, so you're seeing all of the hot mess.
If I'm not keeping up with your vision, Please tell me.
Oh, no, you're doing great.
Thanks.
And also, Amy is working on a version of her Potty PD, which is going to look great. She loved how we used the color palettes, and then she's on her phone right now, but she's going to add her design in a little bit. So yeah, if you're on your phone, add it later. Or if you're driving, don't try to create while you're driving.
Right, safety first.
Please. Okay. Also, you would want to pull this out of the shared slide deck, all of these newsletters, but I'm going to share it here in case anyone wants to steal this idea. Okay. And again, I'm doing those carrots to pull that information over.
I need an idea for a fun GIF. Like if you're like sharing or to spotlight. Can you think of any ideas, Steph? Or anybody in the chat? I need an idea for
like
a GIF.
Spotlight thing, like a movie.
Oh, okay. Sometimes it's the obvious thing that is the best, right? What's nice about GIFs, if you use one and it has a background and you want to remove it, you can actually go to unscreen. Think of that like the video GIF version of remove.bg. With remove.bg, you remove backgrounds from images. With unscreen, you remove them from GIFs or videos.
Patricia's like, I'm going to create afterwards. I want to follow what you're doing. That is fine. We know you will create, Patricia. We love your questions. Okay.
And we know it'll be beautiful.
Yeah. So now we're just kind of making this pretty. And this is why you kind of want to work with a team as well, because if you have a team of teachers, you can be creating this and you'll probably get it done a lot faster than if you don't work with each other.
And it's more fun this way.
It is. I
like reading with you.
I know. It is a lot of fun.
Okay, how much time do we have? Are we good on time?
I think so. 4 minutes, yeah.
Woo, okay.
And we did a session on websites. And so if you need help on that, there is a session that's recorded. Because on here about the class, I'm also going to add the class website because I want my parents to have access to that all the time too. And then I have a class Twitter. And then I want my teacher email.
I'm like feeling the pressure to hurry.
Oh, it's okay.
I feel like we're in the final stretch.
All right, as Ashley is making this beautiful, and of course, this might not be completely beautiful yet, but
no, it's definitely not. It's getting there.
I'm going to go to my Google Drive and I'm going to start a Google form because in order to make this newsletter work, I need to create a Google form in order to do this. So I've got my Google form created. I'm going to call this newsletter personal note. Okay. I'm going to do the name of the student. And so right here, I've got the name of the student. Now, if I had a class list, which I don't have a class list, I would do multiple choice or checkbox. So I could click multiple kids or something like that. But I would do multiple choice, type all of my kids in at the beginning of the year. That way they're there and ready to go. The next thing I might do is I'm going to look on here and I'm going to do note from the teacher. And I'm going to type that right in here. Duplicate this. but whoever is good at, add that right into my Google form. And then I've got goals. Okay. So I've got everything that I want to pull on my Google form. Now on these two boxes, I'm going to type these out. So I'm going to type that out before I do the autocrat type of slide. So these will be filled out before I do this personalized paper for my students. Okay. All right, so I grabbed all of those carrots that I needed. Real quick, another tip, these 3 dots, if you go into preferences, you can have it so you make sure you collect emails every single time. And so if I click this box, it's going to remember that for the next form I make, and I don't have to keep going into settings and clicking that box. I can also click make every single question required, which I often forget to do because it's such a pain to click. So again, if you go into those 3 dots, preferences, you can turn those things on so that way you don't have to keep adding different things. Okay, now that my newsletter is set up, I'm going to click responses. I'm going to hit create. I'm also going to go into my Google form and I'm going to share this as a copy. So if you want to use this, you're more than welcome to. And once I add this into the speaker notes, I'm going to go down and write where it says edit copy. So that way you're able to get a copy of this. You can customize it for your students. It's going to ask you to make a copy and then you can do so. All right. So now that I've got my Google form set up, I've got my spreadsheet. I'm going to act like I'm a student real quick. So Stephanie, note from teacher, Stephanie had a bad day yesterday.
That's horrible.
I know. What am I good at? Designing. Goals for Stephanie. She needs to reach her iReady goal of 45 minutes. Okay, or something like that. Okay, I've got a response in here. Feel free. I'm going to put this Google form into the chat. If you want to fill it out to give me some samples, that would be amazing. All right, and our timer stopped, but should I keep going?
Yeah.
Okay.
5 more minutes.
We're almost there. Okay, so now that I've got this set up, I'm going to go into form, and I'm going to go into add-ons, Autocrat. Once I'm in Autocrat, I'm going to click launch. Okay, and again, please fill out the form so I can get some more responses to show how this is going to personalize. Now that I've got this Autocrat form, I am going to hit new job. This is also really good for teacher-parent conferences. So you can give the parents a sheet as they leave your conference. So remember that tip for when you have parent-teacher conferences as well, if you don't want to use it for your newsletter, because it is still a lot of work. You have to go into that Google form, enter data, but I conference with my kids every single day, or every week. And so I can just make a quick note about how they're doing when I conference with them. So I have that form up while I'm meeting with them. So again, it can be a lot of work, or you could just pick one student to send this home every week. And I think parents will just love the customization of this. Okay, now that I've got this up, I'm going to put my job name. So I'm going to put newsletter. And this really doesn't matter. It's more for you if you have multiple jobs running. Next, I have my template, but I'm going to go ahead. Did we get this pretty good, Ashley? Are you still designing?
Oh, I'm just playing around. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like we need a color palette. I feel like that's what's missing. Okay. Having a beautiful color palette.
Keep playing around, but I'm going to use this example that we have so far. So I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of just this slide because I just need this one newsletter for this activity. I also need to pull it out of my shared drive. Autocrat does not work in shared drives. So just remember that. It's a huge pain, but I'm going to move this out of my shared drive and put it in my Google Drive. Okay, so now it's in my drive. I'm also going to go to my Google Drive, create a folder. You want to create a folder for this because if you don't, you're going to have newsletters all over your drive and nobody has time for that. So I'm going to call this newsletters, Autocrat. And I'm going to throw this Google slide into that folder. Okay, I'm also going to put my Google form in that folder as well and the spreadsheet because I just want it to be all organized. Okay, now that I've got it, I'm going to hit from drive. Thank you, Carrie, for filling it out. I appreciate it. And again, if you're driving, do not fill this out. Newsletters. Next, okay, I'm going to put the name, the student name, notes. I want to do note from teacher. That was the goal. Oh, wrong one. Goals for the student. And then I think I got them all. Okay, so then next, I want this to say the student's name. And so if you click this little blue bar and hit student name, it's going to grab that student's name. I'm going to call this newsletter. Google Slide is good. Next, I want it to go to this folder. It's perfect. Next, I'm going to skip step 6, and then I'm going to skip step 7, and then I do want to share this, okay? Now, 2 things. If you're going to share this, you want to collect emails. And so what I might do is I might have all my parents' email addresses on let me get rid of Zoom, on that Google form. Where did I do that Google form? It went somewhere. So on my Google form, you probably want to have your parents' email addresses. So you could like click those parent email addresses and have them to send, or I'd probably just print these off. It's kind of up to you what you want to do. I did not collect email addresses. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to share this. But step 8 is if you wanted to share this, you can share this email with them directly. However, you would probably want to pull a question that does say parents email. And again, that's just more work for you. So what I would probably do is I would have my student's name, and then I would duplicate this and put parent email, and then I would just type their emails in, and then I would do an autocrat. So this, like, let's say this was the email. And so let me go ahead and turn on emails, and let's see, that should become a column. And so when I do this too, and then I can do that email as one of those, I might have to refresh it, as one of those tags. Okay, does that make sense? I know that's kind of confusing. So again, this would be the parent email question that I have on my Google form. Or you could just print these off and send them home with the kids. Maybe you do this once a month. Maybe this newsletter is not an everyday type of thing. So maybe this newsletter is once a quarter. Maybe it's once a thing. Yeah, certificates. This is great for those. It will save you so much time. That's what we use for gold. When you fill out that certificate, nobody hands write your certificate. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but we're too busy creating. And so it's the computer auto generating that. Okay, so I'm going to actually go ahead, and I don't want to share this document. But that is how you would set up the emails. And then you want to run it from a trigger, you can do that, or you can run them all at the same time. So again, it just kind of depends. I actually want to go back real quick because I made a mistake. Right here on step 7, it says multiple output mode. This would be an individual slide for every single student. I want them all in the same PDF. Okay, so I want it all single PDF, so that way I can just print them, because I don't have time to collect my parents' emails. I just want to print these PDFs, and once a quarter, I'm going to send these newsletters home. Or you could do it as a Google slide, and again, single, or do I want it as multiple options? Okay, so I'm going to do single, and then I'm going to hit next. I've got my folder. I've got all of this set up, and now I'm ready. So I want to run this on a trigger. So anytime somebody fills out that Google form, it's going to add it to that slide deck. And then I am going to hit play. Once I hit play, and I feel sorry, these people came for newsletters and they're getting an autocrat training.
Oh, they're getting a bonus.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
So right here, I'm running that trigger. And now, if I click this link, see how it has all my information in here. So Carrie was on task to finish early. Now I made a mistake. So you can see right here, it says good. I forgot it looks like a carrot. Yep, I forgot a carrot. And that is huge. Okay, so I'm glad you saw me mess up, because you often mess up with autocrat, and then you have to go back in, make that correction. And so it didn't pull that good area. So now when I go back into that newsletter, let me go back to that folder.
Will you zoom into when you are on the newsletter section so we can see it better?
Yeah. This one.
Yeah, there we go.
See how good is
You see the
missing?
magic.
Yeah. See how good is missing that caret? So let me open up this one. I think this was the original. I need to add that back in. Okay, so I've got it now. And again, I want to center this because that's going to bother me. And you want to do a sample run first, so that way you can see what you need to fix. So again, I messed that up. I was able to correct it. So now I'm able to exit out of all these tabs again, go back to my newsletter, go back to add-ons, Autocrat, launch. Now I don't have to redo everything, okay? So that's the beauty of Autocrat. Right here, I'm getting the loading. Now it's saying I have an error because I do. I've made some corrections, and now I want to edit the job. So I want to click that pencil. You can edit at any time. Newsletter, next. Oh, right here, I need to pull the goals. See how it's pulling now? So if you don't see things from this list, it means you're missing something. Okay, so it means you're missing something. Or no, that was good. Sorry. So there, I made another mistake. There we go. Make sure you're pulling the right thing from those carets. Okay, student's name, newsletter, Google Slide, everything looks great. Also, because there are some people that haven't used Autocrat, down here, you can type your own custom email. So I can like put the carets and put so-and-so's parents. Thank you so much for looking at this, whatever I want to say, and I can make my own email, which is just amazing. Okay, so now that I've got that, I'm going to hit save. I want to delete these rows. Anytime you delete these rows, it's going to start over, and Autocrat will replay for you. So anytime you mess up, just you have the data in there. You don't have to redo it, but I've got all of that information, and I'm going to hit play now. And then we're going to see it work its magic again. And if you have multiple, like 75 students or so, just know it does take some time to load. So just be patient with it. And there we go. We can see it did it. And right here, it worked. We fixed our error. Okay, and I've got my 2 newsletters, and then I can just go to File, Print, and I can print those off for parent-teacher conferences, for newsletters, whatever I need to do, I'm able to do that. All right, that was exciting.
That's such a fun idea, too, to give each student their own. Or students could create their own, so if you helped them.
Yeah.
It could be a part of the process to share one thing that was great about, like the best part of their week, their goal, maybe a grade that they're really proud of, or an assignment. So that's a great way just to kind of get students involved too. I know at our school, students often send emails to their families, but why not step it up and do a newsletter?
Yeah. Okay, so I know a lot of you are watching, so we want to see your examples. Come in later, add them, create them. We want to see what you've made and what you're kind of thinking. Maybe you're thinking Autocrat. Feel free to add those carets right into this design that you're thinking about. But we want to see what you're thinking and what you're going to create. All right, since we went way over, we're going to talk pretty quickly. So again, Ashley just talked about it, but having your students create. And so we have a teacher at one of our schools, and she has her students do a monthly reflection. And so on this video, you can kind of see the monthly reflection, and the kids make them. So you don't need Autocrat. You don't need to do all of that. The kids can create all of those different videos that you want to create. And so again, right here, let me try to make this bigger. We've got ELA, we've got math, science, social studies. Again, everything's in one newsletter. It's not separate, 5 different newsletters. It's all one. The kids do a reflection of the week. They talk about what's happening next month. And this is they can do weekly, they could do month, and then they put their selfie. So whatever their selfie is for the month, they can add a photo, and they can do that really quickly in Google Slides by just inserting an image. And then it's so funny because in August, you see their selfie, and then you see their May newsletter, and it's just, you see the growth. And so that's just really fun to see as a parent as well. So again, you could do this weekly or monthly, totally up to whatever you're thinking for this activity. Also, you could add a video. So right here is another video that we have on Gold, and you can kind of watch this and learn how to design. Oh, there I am. How to design a Screencastify video and then how to add it to your newsletter. So there's an example of a newsletter. You're able to add that right onto there, and then your parents can just watch a video. They don't need to read anything. And so I think that could be helpful as well. And then we talked about classroom sites. Why not embed it? Anything else you can think of, Ashley?
No, I think we gave them a lot of information today, and today is a perfect example of going back and rewatching. Watch what you need, take what you need. I know you learned a lot of tips today. There's a lot in there. So I suggest rewatching because I even get confused with autocrat, and Stephanie usually has to sit next to me and walk me through all the steps because it's a lot to remember.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
But it's such a powerful tool.
Yes.
So learn
if you
it
use it correctly.
Yeah, if you can. And you saw me. I messed up, and I've been using autocrat for years. Like, you often mess up, so you run that test, you figure out, it's like coding. You figure out what you did wrong, and then you fix it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you had a great time and learned a lot. Don't forget to fill out the feedback form. And then you'll get your autocrat certificate. So again, we're not handwriting all those. So make sure, debugging, totally true, Patricia. Make sure you fill out that form. Let us know how we can improve and grow. And then you'll also get that certification. And then on September 1st, we have On a Scale, which is going to be a fun session. If you've seen or heard us talk about any of those On a Scales. So think about how are you going to incorporate that social emotional learning in your school year, and think about what you want to bring next month. What kind of On a Scale, like Megan loves tacos. And so if she brings a taco one, we won't be shocked. So think about what kind of characters you might want to use for that activity. If you want to prepare ahead of time, you got a whole month to think of what you want to do, or you'll get to know your students. If you're starting in the US, you'll be able to learn them. And then also check out our website. As always, we've got a ton of information with our Make and Take series. You can click here and see everything that's kind of happening. We also have courses that we just launched, which we're really excited about. So if you want to go deeper with the Make and Take kind of series, these are just $25. And you're able to learn how to make and take Google Slides templates. If you loved our Google Slides course, Ashley created a whole course on Google Sites, and it is amazing. So if you want to know more, these courses, they are paid. They're $25. So you can learn more about any of these courses that you might want to learn about. And then we have a couple upcoming courses, but there already are quite a few to pick from.
We have been really busy this summer making all those videos and getting those courses ready. So please check them out and take whatever you need.
Yeah, and please use the link on this website directly, because we get a little bit more funds if you use our direct link rather than going to the website. So that would be appreciated if you do. And then, as always, follow us on Twitter. We love to connect with you. And we have a session on Canva coming up too on Friday. So if you are interested in Canva, you can join Colin James. He is a teacher and he is amazing at using Canva. So that's Friday at 2. And then again, just thank you for coming. And here are all of the resources that we've kind of used today. It's kind of hard to decide what we're going to use on the air, so we just try to include everything. And then feel free to also buy us a coffee. We love coffee. So if you want to, feel free to buy us a coffee. Anything else that I missed, Ashley, or are we ready to show them our fun video?
I think we're ready to show them our really fun video.
Right. Okay. If you have questions,
joining.
If you have questions, throw them in the chat. But we are going to be wrapping up, but feel free as well to send us a DM or questions on Twitter if they come up, or as you're creating and you get stuck, reach out to us. We are available and we are happy to connect with you. So we are just so excited to have those connections and have all of these resources available to you. Access denied. Which one's denied? You might need to join our Google group. which is right here. Or just request access and I'll figure it out. That works too, because I'm still trying to organize my drive. It's been a hot mess and I shouldn't have moved everything, but I did. And it's been a hot mess, but it's going to be great in the long run, right?
Yes. I know it takes a lot of time to organize, but your drive will look amazing for 5 minutes until it gets fat again.
Oh, don't tell me that. I'm going to keep up with it. I'm going to keep up with it. Yeah, just request access. I will figure it out. And we'll try to figure out what we need to do. All right, guys, have a good one.
Yeah, bye. Thank you.